Hey everybody, this is Mrs. Peachy from Wisconsin Connections Academy, and I'm going to be doing a short video tutorial on how to use a graphic organizer to write an essay. So lots of times you'll be given essays to write that are in classes that aren't your English class, and maybe you struggle a little bit with how to put all the pieces together of your research to put them into a nice essay format. This also works pretty well if you're writing an essay for, say, a unit test in like government or English class where they want you to have several paragraphs. So this is going to be a great way to be able to kind of put all those pieces of the puzzle together. So on my website here, on the home page, if you scroll down, there will be a link to this video, but there's also a link to a graphic organizer for a 5-paragraph essay. So when I click on that, this opens this screen here. Now, this is just one kind of graphic organizer. There are so many different kinds of graphic organizers out there. What I like about graphic organizers is it's a visual way for you to be able to organize your thinking so that you can then put together a very structured paper that makes sense. Because sometimes that's the tricky part. Maybe you're taking notes on everything that you're reading, but you just don't know how to put it together. And so this helps you to kind of take all those discombobulated thoughts and put them together in a way that's organized, in a visual way. Visual graphic organizer, right? So this is just a simple 5-paragraph essay. And for this one, the first box is introduction. We have 3 boxes that say main ideas, 1, 2, and 3. 3 boxes supporting details. And then we have our conclusion, okay? So first thing I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to download this, put it into a Microsoft Word. So I'm just going to click on this. It's going to download this as a Word document down here. I can open that. That's going to open up in Microsoft Word. Okay. And I'm just going to bring that over here so you guys can see it. All right, perfect. So now you can kind of see this. Now you can actually edit this, and I will say that I did kind of just put this together with text boxes and stuff, so the arrows are kind of wonky and things, so don't worry about that too much. But so even though it makes sense to start at the beginning, at the introduction part, I actually would suggest starting with the body of your paper, because then you kind of have all of the main stuff put together and you can go back, because the introduction really kind of introduces that. And if you don't know what it is you're writing, how can you really do an effective introduction to it? So the first thing you're going to do is come up with 3 main points that you're going to be addressing in your paper. The 3 main ideas that your paper is going to be about. And you're going to write them in boxes 1, or main idea 1, main idea 2, and main idea 3. Let's say I did some research on monarch butterflies, because you guys know that I do a lot with monarch butterflies. Maybe in my main idea 1, I might be discussing the maybe I will discuss the life cycle of the monarch butterfly here. And if you really want to kind of get a head start on this, ladies and gentlemen, you can actually kind of write this as though it's a topic sentence. So the life cycle of the monarch butterfly is very complicated and interesting. So that's my topic sentence, right? And then my main idea number 2. Maybe I'm going to talk about the relationship between milkweed and monarchs, because monarchs are very dependent upon milkweed. So I'm going to say monarch butterflies are very dependent upon milkweed for survival. Sentence, topic sentence number 2. main idea number 3, I'm going to talk about monarch migration, how kind of cool that process actually is. So I'm going to say that monarch migration is, let me think about this one for a second. Monarch migration is spectacular event that takes place, I'm going to say that is crucial to their survival. I did survival, so it's crucial to their, I'm gonna use survival again. You can always come back and change some of that later. Okay, so those are my 3 main things that I'm writing about. And then I'm going to come up with 3 supporting points for each one. The life cycle of the monarch butterfly is very complicated and interesting. So maybe I'll talk about probably about the different stages of the caterpillars. That'd be one of my points. Okay, so monarchs lay their eggs on milkweed and and they hatch within 7 to 10 days. Point number 1. Point number 2, monarch caterpillars, we call them larvae too, but we'll call them caterpillars. Caterpillars go through 5 instars. At the end of each, they shed their skin so they can grow bigger. Right? Point number 2, I'm going to put these in separate lines just to make them easier to see. You might have more than 3 points too. I'm like thinking of this going, oh, I could come up with like 10 points about the life cycle of a monarch. The larva pupate at the end of the 5th instar and form a chrysalis, which takes up to 21 days to emerge as a grown butterfly. Alright, those are just some of the things I knew off the top of my head based on some of the research that I had done earlier. Now, when you guys are doing this, by the way, every time you do a little sentence like this, you're going to want to, where did I find that information? And that's where you're going to put your sources, right? So you'll have a source here. So give that information. Remember that in-text citations that you do for MLA citations, you would give the, I don't remember how to do them, if it's author and year or author and date, but, or author, just the author, I think in some cases. So just use your MLA in-text citations. So then we do, the same thing for our second guy, right? 3 points. Same thing for our third guy, 3 points, right? And then finally, or I shouldn't say finally, then next, we can do the conclusion or we can really go back to the introduction at this point. We've got our main ideas. So my introduction is made up of like your topic sentence, which we could say monarch butterflies are a very important part of the ecosystem. They have a complex life cycle that is directly dependent upon the milkweed plant. And then in my second group here, I will talk about like how the milkweed plant is actually in danger because of habitat destruction and stuff like that, and habitat fragmentation. So I'm going to talk about that. And in this part, I'm going to talk about how they all migrate to Mexico, like at the end of after the fourth generation of monarchs will migrate to Mexico and overwinter to come back the next year actually to keep the species going. So those are the things I'm going to be discussing. So here I would just kind of like summarize that it's directly dependent upon the milkweed plant due to human disruption of their habitats. Milkweed is in danger. Humans also have negative impacts on the migration of monarchs. So it is very important for people to appreciate this beautiful butterfly and help to ensure its survival. So really, I mean, I kind of allude to the fact that I'm going to be talking about their habitats, about milkweed, about their migration, but I don't say in this paper I am going to be discussing blah, blah, and blah. I kind of just give some paragraphs on that, right? And then your conclusion does more of that kind of restating things. I might say monarchs are an important part. Monarchs are a beautiful species of butterfly that needs to be protected. And then I will list here, guys. I will go through and list, some main points about this, okay? They have a complicated life cycle that's dependent upon the survival of milkweed, and dependent upon milkweed. Human beings need to protect or to maybe restore their habitat to ensure the survival of this amazing species. Okay, it could be better, but kind of gives you an idea. So the bottom line is I'm kind of filling things out as I go. I've got my 3 main points. I come up with 3 supporting points of each main point, and then I kind of summarize those in the conclusion. But, when it's all said and done, my paper is almost written by the time I'm done. I have my introduction, I have my topic sentence and 3 supporting details. you would want to come up with maybe like a conclusion or transitional sentence in between, right? So a transition is helpful here. And then a conclusion. Just put all these together into one paper and you've got your entire essay written. And so that's the value of having these graphic organizers and how to use them. Again, make sure you have sources for each one of your facts, each one of your supporting points. Those go in parentheses afterwards, and then you also give a sources page, a works cited page, which is done in MLA citation. If you're not familiar with how to do MLA citations, I have another video which actually helps you do that, how to figure out how to do those MLA citations, okay? I hope that was useful to you. I hope you find using graphic organizers useful to help you with writing essays, because that's kind of the whole, I think it's a very valuable tool for those of us who are very visual, which I am. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know, call me, or send me a webmail message. Otherwise, you have a great day.